Hello people, thank you for joining me on another fragrance video. In this edition I'm going to do something a little bit different, something I've not done too often. In fact, something I don't believe I've done at all on this channel, and that is I'm going to do a direct battle between two fragrances. Now one's very popular and one that you see before you is a little bit less popular. It's a flanker from a very well-known line, but this scent in itself not been a major sales success to my knowledge. The one I'm going to compare it to has. I'm going to tell you a little bit about both fragrances, give you a direct comparison and choose a winner. Now, they may seem a little bit random putting these together, but these two fragrances do have some similarities. They have a lot of differences, but they also have some similarities. So we're going to look at that, give you a comparison, tell you which works where, and then give you a recommendation in terms of which you should hand over your hard-earned cash from. So we're just going to start from the beginning with this one. It's Stronger With You Freeze from the house of Emporio Armani. This came out back in early 2020, just before the world went to absolute shit with the pandemic, and it came out in the days when department stores in the UK like Debenhams were still in operation. Those department stores went deaf during the pandemic. So this was bought from such department store. And I want to give you a bit of background in relation to it. Just going to start off with the notes. Going to keep this very simple. At the top you have ginger, lime, mandarin orange and apple. Then in the middle you have lavender, bourbon, geranium, cardamom and sage. And at the base there's bourbon, vanilla, amblewood, Gaelic wood and Marion glaze. What can give you a bit of background about this in terms of setting? Well, it's very much a summer fragrance, so that does work quite well in the evening because it has the cardamom and it has some of the more richer, darker elements that go with the original Stronger With You Freeze. They're very much found in this, and I have done a full review on this as well on my channel, so you can look out for that. It's very well rounded. It starts off kind of sweet, even potentially a bit bubblegummy. But as it dries down, it becomes more creamy. It has some woody elements, and you don't really lose those woody elements as it dries down, but it's very well rounding, very well done. It is a lot like the original Stronger With You, but it's toned down. It says it's called Freeze, it's cooler, it's given a more sort of crisper, lighter element. Stronger With You is more of a wintry fragrance, whereas this one is definitely aimed at the warmer weather. Although it's not it's not an aquatic fragrance, so it's not going to suit you in the high heat. It works more in the evening time. It's definitely overlooked. It's not one that's talked about very often, and I have heard some rumours that it has been sadly discontinued, which I hope is not true. Anyway, without further ado, we're going to compare it with this bad boy. Doesn't really need much saying about it. If you've been on YouTube for a while, you'll have seen this talked about quite extensively on a number of fragrance reviewers channels. It's a much loved fragrance, probably a much bigger seller than Stronger With You Freeze as well. It's of course EDP from the house of Yves Saint Laurent. This is also flanker. The original Y came out around the summer of 2017. Wasn't a popular fragrance, was slated by all seemingly at that time. Didn't get a lot of love. This came out around a year later and made up for it very much so. Again, what can we tell you that's not already been said? Well, it's an aromatic fougere. Just give you a quick rundown of the notes as well. Top notes are bergamot, ginger and apple. The heart you have sage, geranium, juniper berries. At the base, vetiver, cedar, tonka, amberwoods and olibanum. Now, as I say, this has been talked about. It is very much a loved fragrance, but it also fits the kind of same scenarios, the same situations as Stronger With You Freeze, in the respect that it's a more of a summery sort of evening fragrance. Would work quite well in the autumn, but this also works quite well in most situations. You know, it's not overly heavy, it's not overly light. Dare I say, it's even signature scent worthy. It's a blue fragrance, it's very classy, it's very crisp. In terms of giving you the overall blurb that YSL put out, they say it's a seductive interpretation of Yves Saint Laurent's iconic white t-shirt and black jacket. Now I don't know about that because it doesn't make me think about black jackets or anything of that nature. It does make me think more of a summery fragrance. Sort of maybe a light shirt, some chino shorts, going out, having a few drinks in the warmer weather. Certainly not sunbathing. But I do think it does certainly suit the summertime, and that's why I compare these two together, because they both fit that mould. Now, you may be wondering which of these two fragrances is the best. Given that I've said it's signature scent worthy, you would think that I would be going towards the EDP version of Y, but you would be absolutely wrong. For me, the best of these two is Stronger With You Freeze. Now, that may be a controversial choice, but it's all about opinions. I absolutely love the original Stronger With You. This builds on that DNA, it has that same mould, but without taking it off in too much of a different direction some flankers do. But it's classy, it's well rounded, it stands out, it's a compliment getter. I mean, they both stand out, they're both excellent compliment getters, but this one I think just narrowing has the edge. There's not a lot in it. If I was to grade them out of 10, I would say that is an 8, and this is beating it by the slimmest of margins at 8.5. But both excellent fragrances, both suit what they do, both good for the majority of situations, and both strong competitors. If you want something that's not Dior Sauvage or Acqua di Gio Profumo, they're going to fit most scenarios, as those two fragrances do, but they're not as obvious, which makes them very good and also worth the money. Hopefully Stronger With You Freeze has not been discontinued. I think that would be very sad, but as I say, two fragrances to look out for, and for me, Stronger With You Freeze has the edge, albeit be it by, should I say, by the very narrowest of margins. Anyway, that's enough of me blabbering on again. Thank you for taking the time to watch, it is very much appreciated. If you can look out for my other fragrance videos, I would appreciate that as well. Also, if you can give this a thumbs up and subscribe, I would like that very much. And anyway, that's enough of me blabbering on for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of your day.